Welcome back to episode 2, or week number 2, of the After Hours by Omni Garage podcast.
How's your week been?
It's been good. You've been back.
Oh, I'll be back.
You're back. You were back last week too, to be fair.
Yeah, so my second week of work.
It is second week, but it feels like the first week we've had some kind of normality around the channel, content.
We haven't put anything out yet, though.
No, we haven't, but we've got a...
Actually, no, you put a short out.
I did. Last night, I put a short out. It's performing quite well.
Yeah, that was a good short. That was, we were washing my car out at parents' house, you know.
Yep.
It's been parked away for 3 months, and we dried it with the petrol leaf blower.
We did, and you look like a bit of a noob doing that.
Well, when you're out at the farm, you know, you got to use the farm tools.
Yeah.
And actually, my leaf blower was at home anyway, so I wasn't bringing that out.
Okay. Well, lucky your dad.
I was like, no, Dad's got one. Dad's got everything.
Leaf blower. It served the purpose, and it managed to help us create some content as well.
Well, I mean, if you go back far enough on the YouTube world, that's what Matt Mormon from Assess Garage started blowing his cars off with.
Yeah, I think we actually talked in the video there about doing the is it spitting gas test. So I think he did back in the day put like an A4 piece of paper over this gas-powered leaf blower, because people were hitting him up in the comments saying that it was, squirting gas all over his car.
Gassy oil everywhere. Nothing came out.
So no gassy oil on the Subi?
I don't know how you tell. Unless it was like big blotchy bits everywhere. But I mean, so many scratches on that car, you're not going to notice.
So what we did this week, we made a few videos actually. You won't have seen any of them on the channel just yet. But
you might have, because this is podcast number 2.
It is.
You might see them. Actually, you'll see the...
definitely the wash video.
You would have seen the wash video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had that car sitting in the garage for 3 months. So for those of you who don't know, Glenn spent the last 3 months over in Europe, kind of holidaying and doing a little bit of work over there as well. And one of his cars sat in, it was like a barn-like environment.
Yeah, it was like a back garage. It was locked up for 3 months, and Dad was cutting some tiles. And that car is covered in tile dust.
Yeah.
Like all over it. And it was like, okay, well, it's kind of been locked up. It's been in the barn, barn find sort of car. And then we just pulled it out, started it, and washed it. We used the Omni Garage, the surface prep, the foaming surface wash, and their bucket wash, and performed pretty well, cleaned up pretty nicely. Hopefully I didn't scratch it with tile dust, but...
No, I think...
made for a good watch, I think.
It did. I think the system that we used to wash that was pretty safe, I think, to get the tile dust off. The other thing that we did, so we did like a video on essentially that wash process and what we went through to get that car kind of back in, shape to get back on the road for you. But we also covered off the Grio's deionizer, the inline product, which is something a little bit unique. That
is quite good, and I think for anyone who is washing cars, who's got a passion for washing cars, I think a deionizer is something that's probably quite slept on. I think if you've got a nice car that you spend a lot of money on, you've got some relatively hard water, I think a deionizer can just help you enjoy that process a little bit more. You can slow down your wash time. You're not too worried about getting water spots. You're basically rinsing your car with spotless water.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using a deionizer now for maybe a couple of years. But you haven't had one at your house.
I haven't had one, and so you've got to wash in the shade. You've got to make sure that you don't spend too much time washing, and then when you rinse it, you've got to dry it off really nicely. And actually, one thing that I forgot to talk about is that a deionizer is good for the windscreen washer fluid. Stops that. But also the other thing is that when you pull your car in after you've dried it, you've put on your drying aid, and you've got it all looking nice, is that spots leak from the windows, they leak from the door jambs, all that kind of stuff. And you'll notice on most cars, I have noticed that cars that come through our shop that, that they might have been washing at home, whatever, they've got these 2 lines right down underneath the wing mirrors, all the way down the center of the door. And it's like, okay, well, there's another reason why you want DI water, because when you're finished, you're going to get minerals deposited on there if you don't use a deionizer. So that's another good reason. I forgot to talk about that. But
yeah, I think the piece that we covered in the video, trying to tell people why they needed it, was that the washer fluid aspect, definitely, because you get those lines, right? They go up the corner of the windscreen, they run up those A-pillars, and you start to see them go.
Well, it's just that natural progression of all that squirting up as you're driving, and you definitely get that deposit everywhere, and it's like, well, now I've got to polish that off.
So do you like your Grio's inline deionizer?
Yeah, it's good. I would say that for the amount of washing that we do, that inline small unit that's not hasn't got any replaceable resin is not going to be ideal for us, because we do a lot of washing. But if you were someone who does the occasional wash once a month or whatever, and you've got relatively non-hard water, weak water,
Hard water.
hard water, If you got if you don't have very hard water.
Oh, okay. So if
So
you've
if you've
water,
got 50 parts per million
Yeah.
sort of water, which isn't hard, we're not talking 300 parts per million. So I guess you've got less ions in your water, which means it's less hard. That's better for you because you get more washes out of your resin.
yeah, you're not going to be
Whereas if
wanting
you had
to.
really hard water and you're doing lots of washes, then you want like what we've got or what you've got, if you've got like a replaceable resin system.
Yeah,
So you can change your resin out.
I think that's the key, and we struggle here in New Zealand as well to actually get access to, the majority of the deionizers systems that are
Well,
on the
there's
market.
one good one that we use is Pure Wash.
Correct.
And they've got like a resin system that you can change. And I haven't seen anyone else. There's one other car detailing company that uses a spin-off of the Pure Wash system. I think they relabel it, but it's still Pure Wash. So
Is it like the Pure Tech or something?
Yeah.
I know there is something else sitting out there.
What's the car? I can't remember the company that uses it, but they have one, and it's the one and only system I've seen. So yeah, I mean the Greer's one is good, and Greer's do make a bigger tank. So if you wanted to change more resin more frequently, then it's definitely an option. I think, to be honest with you, if you're spending less than $500 on a deionized system, I mean it's going to cost you that to have to get someone to polish your car to get the water spots out.
I think it's a no-brainer.
So
I
why
think
would you not buy one?
I think even as a beginner, you need to have a deonizer.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to take your time, enjoy it. The neighbour comes around and goes, "Hey Johnny, nice to see you clean your car." You start talking, you're like, "Oh crap, now I've got all this water drying on my car." Or for us, we're filming, it takes a little bit longer than normal, so you can't be mucking around. And so it just buys you that little bit of time. It's not completely safe, but definitely 99% of the time it's fine.
I mean, I'm excited for the Grio system because you finally got something at your house now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it opens up a whole range of options for you to wash and us to wash at your house.
Totally, because I've been quite restricted to basically the time I can wash. Had to wash in the shade. And now is good because we're on daylight saving, so we get that extra hour in the evening. But usually it's dark at like 5, 6 o'clock at night. So A, we can't film. B, I can't wash at that late at night. And so then, it sort of limits my ability to get a nice wash done. And I've been having to do rinseless washing.
Yeah, or you having to come around here and fill up your washer
Well, I
reservoir.
just come around here because this is where everything is.
Exactly.
And we just time the filming sequence of events to wash my car when it's dirty. And then
Exactly.
you help me, so it's easy.
Yeah. So, so it's
It's
actually
like free labour.
there's a downside you having a deonizer now.
Yeah, potentially, because it means I'm going to have to... I've got no excuses now. I usually do a rinseless wash, and for years and years, we talked about this on the last podcast, but for years and years, I've tried to convince you to do rinseless washing, and I think most people should be doing rinseless wash most of the time. Like, if you're a real car enthusiast, then your car is clean majority of the time, then rinseless wash is fine.
Yeah, it
It's a
took
safer washer, it's quicker, it doesn't take as much equipment. I mean, cleaning up after filming, like, you've got a soapy bucket, you've got soapy wheel bucket, you've got a soapy rinse bucket, you've got all these tools, you've got a pressure washer, you've got pressure washer equipment, blah, 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 blah. It definitely takes longer. And then you've got to clean up the dishes, you've got to do the detailing dishes.
yeah.
Mitts and all that kind of garbage.
When you're doing a rinseless, you've got the one bucket to empty out.
Yep.
You've got your sponge to wring out and sit somewhere to dry, probably back in the same bucket, as long as it doesn't have a lid on it. You have your, IK sprayer.
Well, if you've got
put away.
rinses left over, you can leave that for next week.
Well, yeah, exactly. Or, yeah, you're right. In
Yep.
the bottle. Yep.
Yep.
So you can just put your bottle away. And then you got a couple of drying towels.
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to dry if you don't want it because you've still got it on there.
Well, exactly. So, no, I mean, it took a lot of convincing for you to get me across to...
Trust me, like I
use
was
rinseless.
skeptical too. A long time ago, I was like, "Oh, yep, this is a bit strange. This is a bit weird," and that's what a lot of people are like when they're, trying it out for the first time. And then it is a bit of a skill that you need to learn. It kind of is a bit strange that you're believing in the science that you can't really see working, and it's like, well, I'll give it a go. Lots of people are talking about it, but I don't know. That Range Rover, it's been detailed for over a year now, and that has been cleaned by rinseless wash. And I reckon that paint is in better condition than if I'd done a stupid bucket wash.
Yeah, I think so. And do you know what? Especially with you not having a deionizer, I think there's a risk almost of you doing a traditional wash on that vehicle because you've got the opportunity for the water to start drying because it's so big.
Totally.
With your rinseless, you can do it in small sections.
And it's got the whole roof is black. And so a little bit of drying on there will get water spots. Like the Subaru's got water spots on it. And that is just due to me being caught out or not quite drying it quite right and stuff like that. So yeah, I think because the rinseless wash, it's not going to basically soften the water, but what it's going to do is it's going to encapsulate those minerals. It's going to take them out of the solution for you so you don't get water spots. I mean, most people who have got poor washing technique, have got poor understanding of what's going on with their paint, should actually be doing a rinseless wash.
Yep.
Like the mums and dads of this world who are time poor, technique poor, and really haven't got a lot of money to spend should be buying one bucket, one sponge, some drying towels, and a decent rinseless wash.
So this probably brings me to the question or the topic of today's podcast. I was having a bit of a think this week around the amount of questions we get from people who bring their vehicles to us, right? They bought a nice new car, they bring it to us, we paint correct it, or we may just ceramic coat it because they're pretty happy with the condition of the paint when it comes to us. And they always ask us the question, what should I be using to wash my car? And generally these people don't have anything. You know, they might have an old bucket lying around.
Yep.
You know, they've got the old sponge, you know, the traditional like sponge that they've had for years and years, a bit of turtle wax soap, and that's all they've had, and that's all they've ever had. Maybe a chamois, like a drying towel. So we're getting these people asking us this question, you know, what should I buy? You know, what soap should I use? And it's not quite as simple as that for us, right? We can't just tell them, oh, you should be using the soap, because everything else about their process also needs an adjustment.
Oh, yeah, because you say go buy a soap, so they go and buy the worst soap. You know, they don't know about buying online or where to buy from. So they just go to the local department store and they're buying some junk off the shelf. I mean, you could take an aim and you could get some decent soap, like you could buy Maguire's. But again, the mums and dads aren't going to this website to buy this website to buy this website to buy this, and then waiting 3 weeks for shipping. Like, they're just not going to, because that's just not how they work. What you should do is you should go on Thor, the House of Rags website, and buy it from there is where you should go, because they have everything. But I would be, you know what, I'd have this hybrid wash in my mind.
Okay.
I would be doing a hybrid wash from the fact that rinseless wash, you can't really clean the wheels that well. You can, it gets quite messy. I think normies would get quite frustrated with that.
Yeah.
So I think you get your hose, you squirt it off a little bit, you have a bit of soap in the bucket, and you clean the wheels like how you would normally clean wheels.
Yep, I would agree.
Then I think if you've got a car that is quite heavily mudded, you've been out on a long road trip and you've been caught out in a bit of muck and you've got a lot of dirt and grime, you spray it down with some rinseless, and then you rinse it off with your hose or your pressure washer, and then your contact wash is your rinseless solution.
So
I think you call it done. And you could use your drying aid or your little pop-up gloss with something that you choose, and I think you call that day done.
So the way I did a couple of rinseless washes while you're away, and how I think people should be doing this, if someone was on a real budget and they're like, hey, you know, what 4 or 5 things do I need to buy to be able to look after my car? I didn't even think a pressure washer would be high on that list for me, because I wouldn't necessarily be encouraging them to go to pressure washing type, you know, washes on a regular basis. What I did is I pulled the car out of the garage.
Yep.
Okay. I got my IK foamer. You could use anything.
Yeah, you could use a garden sprayer from Mitre 10 or...
Correct. So just a pressurized sprayer.
Yep.
What I did is I got the garden hose. I sprayed down each wheel. I sprayed my wheel cleaner on there. So, I mean, you could have done that straight up from the bottle as well. It didn't need to be done from a pressurized spray.
On there.
Yep.
Yep.
And I used just a wheel sponge.
Yep.
From the rag company, I think. You could use any
the
sponge.
finger mitt
thing. Yeah, like the finger mitt.
Yep.
And I quickly washed all the wheels down.
You can use a microfiber towel. You can use anything. Yep.
I rinsed it off. I got the leaf blower, you know, blow dry them because I knew it was going to sit for a wee while. I don't want any water spots to form on there, given I wasn't using deionized water. And then I pulled it inside, and then I went to my normal wash.
Yeah.
So I still
normal rinseless wash.
Normal rinseless wash.
Yep.
Inside. Yep.
And I think if you had a slightly soiled car, then you could do a pre-treat with your rinseless wash, rinse it off outside, get all the big chunks of mud and dirt and grime or salt or whatever else off your car, get a little bit of that road film off potentially, and then pull it inside and then do your contact wash. Done.
So what products were you recommending someone buys in? So that person comes through our shop again. Like, where are you steering them? What are the essentials?
Like the products, not like what about the tools?
Yeah, so this person, because this person exists and they're very, very common, they have a bucket, they have a sponge, they have a chamois, and they have an old car wash. Like, what are we telling them to buy?
Access to any products is fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're happy to go online and order them. I think it's
well, you get yourself a good rinseless wash.
Okay.
So you're getting something like, what are our favorites? We use...
I mean, the
FinLab rinseless V3, or you're getting DIY Detail V2.
Yep.
Or what else you got up there? You're getting Detail Co.
Yep.
Or Pans is quite good. So you're getting yourself a decent rinseless wash, maybe something in someone's top 5. Like if you go to Eddie's top 5, you can't go wrong. You go to maybe some videos that you've seen of ours, you can't go wrong. Everybody in the last sort of 12, 18, 24 months has released a rinseless wash. There was about 3 or 4 on the market few years ago, everyone's decided we need a rinseless wash. So the market has completely boomed with rinseless wash. Most of them are pretty good.
Yeah, and I would recommend someone buys. You probably need a gallon, but I probably wouldn't do it by buying a gallon. I would probably recommend, hey, look, here's 4 top options.
Yeah.
Go and buy a couple of them and figure out which one you like best, because someone might be drawn to a scent.
Yeah, some might like more of a slick, like it's got more polymers in it. Some might like just a straight cleaner when you get a little bit deep into it. It just totally depends. Some people might not like the feel of it on your hands. There's a whole heap of things. Some of the drying off might be slightly easier, but that's too advanced for mum and dad who are just going to be cleaning. So you get yourself a decent rinseless wash. You buy yourself a sponge. I don't know. You probably buy yourself Ivan sponge from DIY Detail.
I really like that sponge. The only thing I wish is that we could
have
get
you
a white
heard a
sponge.
story on how he developed the sponge? It was such a great story. I think you go back to the source and you buy a sponge.
Yeah.
You get yourself a bucket. You don't even need a grit guard now because you're basically, the rinseless wash is going to encapsulate anything you have. And you buy yourself some quality microfiber to dry your vehicle. You might get yourself a detail spray. You don't even need that. You could just dry it because you've already got the lubrication of the rinseless on the panel. Already got your garden hose. You buy yourself a wheel cleaner. I don't know. What do you buy? You buy yourself maybe Armour Detail Supply wheel cleaner.
Yeah, that Maniac wheel cleaner we used the other day.
Yeah,
is pretty
Maniac
stout.
or Brake Buster's quite good.
Yep.
Get yourself
and a wheel mitt.
Yep, and
Wheel mitt to go with it.
done.
And you reckon that's all you would need? That's all you'd recommend someone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I reckon you're probably under $100 right now.
On Rinseless, I think so, because we're looking at, Rinseless product, maybe $15 to get a small bottle, $15 for a sponge, so we're at $30. You need a couple of drying towels. So you might be, I don't know, you might be that again on drying towels. So you might be at $60. Wheel mitt, $20. So you're at $80. Wheel cleaner, another $20. You're at $100. And your bucket. Most people would have a bucket lying around. I think that you can get a pretty good wash setup for doing Rinseless for under $120.
And the other thing is that the way that Rinseless works is that it encapsulates the dirt and grime off the panel. So it pulls it off, it lifts it off, not like you're not going to see it floating above your eyes or something, but it's going to pull it off the panel. So it's nicely encapsulated. Your mitt is going to come across. You then dunk your sponge into your wash media, into your bucket. It's going to pull that dirt and grime out. It's going to keep it encapsulated in the bucket, and you go again. It's a safe washing technique. You can't do much damage. It's going to soften the water, so you're not going to have risk of water spots. You can do it out in the sun. Most people don't have a luxurious garage or, a shaded area or a carport or something like that, and I think you're good.
I think the toughest thing I found is when we have had this conversation with, clients bringing their cars in the past, I've always been fixated on contact washers and using a pressure washer. So
that's the way you learn. That's the way you've been told your whole life.
It's how I've been doing it forever.
That's how you wash the dishes in the sink. So that's how I wash the carpet, and that's how I'm going to wash my car.
Yep.
It's all the same.
So
Soap, water, and some hard muscle.
I've been super fixated on telling that person, okay, do you have a pressure washer? Yes. Okay, great. Now, what you're going to need is a foam cannon. Okay. And then it's working out which fittings they need. So we're already lost at that point. Then I'm telling them at that point, hey, you need, 2 buckets because you need a rinse, you need a wash. The argument is out there. You could get away with 1 bucket, but I'm
seeing arguments come more and more true now that 1 bucket is all you need.
But I've been telling these people, you need 2 buckets.
Yep.
Okay. And then I've been going, okay, now you need a wash mitt, you need a shampoo, okay, you need a wheel cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say foam cannon?
No, foam cannon.
You need a foam cannon. Then you need drying towels.
Yeah.
And you need a drying aid as well because you can't use the car soap.
Yeah, because you're rinsing off, so you've got nothing left for protection or lubrication.
And that to me has been the bare minimum. So we're going...
So you're $500 to $1,000 deep?
Well, depending on if someone has a pressure washer. But I think the worst thing there is trying to explain to them the fittings that they need to get a pressure washer working in that fashion. And then as a tack on, I've been trying to pitch to people, you need a deionizer.
Yeah, I think the deionizer is something you want right at the beginning. And you could even use your deionizer for your rinse off anywhere. You could just plug it into the hose. So if you're going to do a rinse to start with, you could do that. Yeah, the deionizer doubles up so you can wash your house and your windows as well. So you're not getting water spots on your windows and your joinery. So I think you get a lot of uses out of something that's not that expensive.
Yeah, because the thing I've really struggled with, we've had that conversation so many times, and we really lose people really early on in the piece. So I think any detailers out there...
It's rinseless wash.
Yeah, would be very familiar with that conversation, trying to talk to your clients around what they need and just losing them when you start getting into it.
The problem is that people are scared to do it because it's a new wash technique. It's a learning curve. There's some adjustment there, and there's this fear of what is this random chemical I'm spraying onto the panel. It's like you can't see it work. I just have to trust it. And people aren't familiar with the wash technique. That's all it is.
What I'd like to see us move toward, and I'd love to see this package created on the House of Rags, is a package for that particular person who's asking that question. Because I think with Rinseless now, it's down to the price point where you can package it together and you can tell them, hey, look, everything you need is in this one package here.
100%.
Go on the website, click buy, everything you need is included in there. So you'll get your bucket, you'll get your Rinseless, you'll get your Rinseless sponge, you'll get a wheel cleaner, a wheel sponge, and some drying towels.
Yeah.
And I think that's all that
And then
anyone
that
needs
also
now.
needs to be, then that package probably needs to come with like a learning curve video. A 2-minute clip on how to do X, Y, and Z, how to do the technique, a little bit of information, and you're good to go. Yep, I agree with you.
Because in the past, if that package was put together by a company, the cost alone of that, when your client's asking you, hey, what do I need to buy? And you send them a link and it's $1,000 to look after their car. They're not.
You've got
going
5
through
minutes to
those
have this
steps.
conversation with them because they're excited about picking up their car. They're like, now, how do I care for it? You just need to go ahead and just go X, Y, and Z, done. This is how you do it. Send them on with a package. And I mean, people like to buy things to go home with because it feels like, oh yeah, I've just spent $5,000 on this full detail ceramic coating, blah, blah, blah. And now I just want like a $50 little bundle to take home, little care package. Okay, cool. I'm going to get, next week I'm going to get in and rinse my car and it'll be all sweet. So I think it's a great upsell opportunity too.
The argument would be, what do I do when the car's really dirty? And I mean, I think my answer to that is go to the coin-operated car wash and you take your same rinseless gear there and you use the high-pressure washer. Or if you have a pressure washer already, you do a hybrid wash. You rinse, you maybe do your wheels using the pressure washer with your bucket, with your wheel cleaner, and then you bring it inside and you do your rinseless wash. Like I'm really converted to the point where I think we can confidently have that conversation with clients going through. And I think a lot of detailers should be doing that as well with their clients who they're not doing like the maintenance type work on customers' cars. If it's coming in for a coating or a protection.
Ivan has come out and made some videos about doing, like a shop. Like, should you be doing full bucket wash stuff or should you be doing more rinseless stuff in your shop? And he says absolutely most shops who are high volume wanting to make a lot of money should be doing rinseless wash. It's time saving, it's not expensive, everyone can follow the same technique, it's safe, it's clean, you don't have all the setup. And I guess you then could apply that to the mums and dads of this world or to your mate down the road. It's like, well, you don't have to have all this equipment. Like, where are you putting all this stuff? I mean, look at the cabinets of stuff behind us.
I mean,
you've got a big garage here.
Yeah.
Where do you put the kids' bikes, the golf clubs, the lawnmower, the other broken lawnmower from 3 years ago, the weed eater you never use, your mountain bike that you think you got into mountain biking that you never ride, grandma's electric scooter. Like, where do you put all that stuff?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
And now you're going to go, well, I need a pressure washer and I need 4 buckets and I need all these towels. Where do you put all that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, people don't have space. So a bucket of rinseless, a bucket, sponge, good to go.
Well, someone can buy that immediately as well. Because if you give them the list of $1,000 worth of
It's
products.
affordable, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound scary. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah,
They're not buying that $1,000 list at the same time. So they're going to take their car home and they're going to buy 1 or 2 things from that $1,000 you suggested, start ruining the car week 1, maybe get something better week 2, and you're already lost at that point.
And the other thing is that Ivan talks about the sponge. So back whenever, people said, don't ever, have you heard the line, don't ever wash your car with a sponge?
No, I haven't heard that.
No, don't ever use a sponge. You never use quality microfiber. You need a nice wool mitt. You need... No, don't use a sponge. And that's because sponges back then were made garbage. Poor foam. Ivan talks about it on some video I watched a while ago. It was like poor foam, had the wrong size cells of the foam. It didn't work. It could be quite abrasive. It didn't eliminate pressure points and stuff like that. So when he owned his franchise shops, he created some sponges that he got a whole heap of samples. I'm doing a real poor recollection of events.
The sponge that I'm picturing is the exact sponge I was describing in the...
it's probably like this big. It started off this big and then you put it in water and it grew.
Yeah, but it's yellow. But it's got quite big pores in it.
Yeah, and it looks like a kidney bean shape.
Yes,
and it's like, So he got all these foam samples. He went through them all and he wanted a sponge that was going to perform quite well in the bucket. So a problem with the one foam, it was like slimy, didn't work that well. And then he wanted a foam that was going to work well with soap as well. And then he wanted a foam that wasn't going to scratch. And then the thickness of the sponge had to eliminate pressure points, because when you put the sponge on, if it's thin, you push too hard, you get a pressure point in a certain area, and then he then developed the right thickness, so it curves and no pressure points. And then the slits are really important, to be able to put the dirt somewhere, and then also for it to be able to come out. And so that's how that sponge, the sponge we see, the square shaped sponge with the slits on it that we all use for rinseless wash, that's how that was started.
Kind of has the same shape as the old traditional sponge, right? It like flares out.
Yeah, flares out. I think there's a couple of different shapes. One's got a triangle at one end and a flat end, and then you've got Eddie's one that sort of looks a bit like that kidney shape, and they've just released a new sponge with their iconic rinseless wash that was diamond at both ends. But I'd be buying one of those sponges. He created it. He's R&D'd a lot of time on that sponge. That's what I'd go for. You get yourself the good quality foam that he's tested. Get yourself a good rinseless wash. If you want to have the whole package, get the DIY detailed version 2 rinseless.
I'll be really keen to hear from other detailers as well in the comment section below, and just understand, how are you having this conversation with your clients? Because I find that this has been a really difficult one, and I think that it has been solved, in my mind, sitting here right now, by rinseless wash.
The alternative is that you come to Omni Garage and we bill you on a subscription. So we have a maintenance wash package that we bill our clients. These are for the real busy clients who don't want to look after their car. We have quite a few who just sign up to the subscription, and we wash their car every month, or for some people it's once every 2 months, and we do it all for you. And you don't need to worry about it. We do everything that requires when your vehicle needs it. It might need more of a deep clean. It might need resetting of the ceramic coating, or bringing that back to life, or might need a little correction here or whatever. Or you buy yourself this hypothetical thing we just made up in the last 20 minutes of a rinseless wash bucket package.
I think it needs to go on the House of Rags website.
There you go.
As a package.
You heard it here first, guys. Yeah. I think Eddie and the team, you guys need to create that.
Yeah, because especially when the House of Rags...
And make it so you can change your rinseless wash as well. So you could go, I want Detail Co. or I want DIY Detail, and change the bucket up.
Yeah.
So bucket package up.
Maybe have a couple of add-ons, add-on gallon of a particular product. I mean, House of Rags is supposedly landing in New Zealand pretty soon. New Zealand and Australia.
We've been talking about pretty soon for a pretty soon amount of time.
But hey, this
it's
podcast
coming
is
pretty
another
soon,
few
though,
days out.
Yeah.
But I'd love to be able to link to that and just give that to our clients, because it's just been such a pain point, tough conversation to have. You got so little time to have it, and going down the pressure washer route is just, I want to stop doing it.
Or the other thing is that when you live on this side of the world, actually trying to buy quality detailing products that aren't from your convenience stores, your car stores, you actually can't buy anything decent.
No.
There's a few retailers here in New Zealand, and they're always out of stock. They buy small amounts of product because they probably don't have the capital to be able to buy pallets of the stuff. And then we have a real small market here of people actually buying the stuff, that I would say it's actually quite hard to be able to bring such a large market to this area. So I guess it's really exciting for us, and we talked about this last week and we'll talk about it again, but a lot of people are wanting to be able to buy these products. So when the House of Rags does come to Australia, they'll be able to ship to New Zealand, and we'll have our own little supply chain of that, which will be really nice.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the population of the two countries probably drives that a little bit. Australia, I don't know, what's Australia, 20 million?
Well,
20 plus?
Yeah, I would say so, but they've also already got some quite big distributors.
Well, they do
in the market. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but definitely solves the problem for us on this side of the world.
I mean, we're so limited. We might have 4 or 5 different suppliers, but each supplier...
No, I reckon we've got 3.
Well, yeah, maybe 3 main players.
We've got Prestige Auto Care.
Yep, we've got Detail Depot.
Yep. And there's that one in Auckland that kind of sort of works, but then moves to Christchurch or something. I can't remember. So I reckon we've got 3.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of other companies that sell one of this and one of that and one of this.
Well, that's it. There's no catch-all. There's no one place we can go. And even if someone has a product line, I think Detail Depot have CarPro. They don't even have the whole line. So
yeah,
I think the sooner that we can get access to the House of Rags, shipping to New Zealand, because that is the struggle with Australia as well. A lot of those suppliers either don't offer shipping to New Zealand. Some of them do, and it's super expensive. But some just don't at all.
We have spent more money probably on shipping than we've actually spent on products.
Yeah, traditionally. I think to get a product from anywhere in the world to New Zealand, we're basically paying that again in the product in shipping.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just paid for Rinseless Wash to get here from Eddie, and it was $60.
Wasn't that US dollars as well?
So yeah, double
So you got
that.
one bottle of Rinseless and a sponge for $66
In shipping.
in shipping.
Yeah, alone.
Shipping alone, yes. Yeah.
So you think about that. That's expensive. That's more than the product itself. So convert that to NZ dollars. That's expensive.
Yeah. So I think that as soon as they land, I think it's going to open us up to a lot more products that we can try out as well. But I think the byproduct of that is, it gives us an easy link as well and a resource to people because, the House of Rags is selling a lot of the products that we use.
Yeah, they've got such a big range of good products. So yeah, I mean, why not?
So we said last week we would kind of have a video of the week. We'd talk about a video.
Yeah, video of the week.
Have you been watching much YouTube this week?
I've
trying to get your life back in order?
I've watched a very small amount of YouTube this week, but I do have. I got a product of mine that I've seen a couple of videos come out. Do you want to go first? What do you got?
Well, I'm just curious to know if you've watched the Matt Armstrong video yet.
No. You told me to.
I've been telling Glenn for your whole trip. I've been telling you. You've had about 30 hours on airplanes and you haven't even been able to watch one video I've sent you.
I had 24 hours on an airplane.
Okay. Are we counting now?
Nah, yeah, 24 hours.
I'm quite disappointed because obviously Matt Armstrong, not detailing content related, but...
You like him though. He's a big YouTuber.
Do you know
He's
what?
a big supercar YouTuber.
He is. And I mean, his views to subscriber ratio was just out of this world.
So how many subscribers has he got?
I don't know, 5-6 million.
And how many views does he get?
At least that, if not more.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He's at least a 1-to-1. That's what I'm telling you. If you watch a video, you will get absolutely hooked. So it's not necessarily my video of the week, but I've been watching a lot of Matt Armstrong, and
that's a really good ratio. You think about some other big YouTubers. I don't know.
Well, think about in that same kind of realm, like Adam Mousey.
Yeah, well, he's got 3 million.
Yeah, and getting about 300-400.
Yep. TJ Hunt's about the same, slightly less. He's around the 2.5 million, and he's getting about the same. Pan's got 1 million subscribers, and he's getting, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50,000.
Yep.
Somewhere there, a video.
Matt Armstrong has an insane view to sub ratio.
That is a really good, yeah, okay.
And the thing is, all of his videos as well are like an hour long.
Right.
And for me, like, I really like watching detailing content.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like watching builds of vehicles. Matt Armstrong does not do anything to do with detailing. Like, that is the furthest thing from his mind when he's working on these. It makes me cringe, some of the stuff I see. But he just makes it so engaging, some of these videos. So, like, 2 videos I watched.
Has he got a decent production team around him?
Do you know what? It feels very raw. It feels very, like, selfie
Is he vlogging it? Like, holding it?
He will at times, or he'll have a GoPro set up. I mean, because he's working in a shop till like 3-4 a.m.
Does he do the work himself?
Yeah, he does it with his dad.
Okay.
I think you're going to enjoy it because you're going to learn a lot. So the 2 videos I watched that I think that you should watch, he bought a Range Rover SVR.
Yeah, you told me about
that.
Yeah.
And it was just really interesting seeing some of the hacks and some of the expensive bits that he was getting quoted by Land Rover that he could find elsewhere.
Right.
And just seeing some of the things. Like, one of the things he did in that video is he had to replace like an airbag module thing. And it has like a yaw, so it knows when it's tilted.
Right.
And he accidentally plugged it in while it was on an angle, and every airbag in the car blew.
That car's got a lot of airbags too.
It does. So that was quite I wouldn't say entertaining, but it was interesting to watch. But
what I'd like to see is that when they finish these builds, how good do these cars drive? How do they look? Because I can show you my car from this distance and you'll see no scratches. You get up real close, you'll see scratches, and the camera does wonders for dodgy work.
I don't think Matt's cars are looking. So I know he's got some detailers that he works with, but I don't think.
But even when you've got half a car that's all crashed in and bent up in the front, how nice does it look when it's all mashed together?
I don't know. I think we need to. Go to Matt's shop at some point. That was my second video.
Good luck getting invited with that.
No. Do you know what? I think that I'll be happy to go there and detail a car.
That's like you rocking up and wanting to see like Adam Malz's shop.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But, I think that... So Matt's just built a new shop.
Yeah, okay.
Again, another video on his channel. And
whereabouts in the US is he based?
No, he's in the UK.
Oh, UK.
He's in the UK. You could have stopped in.
Oh, God, yeah, pop in. Pop in for a full English, you
But
reckon?
what I liked about this video that I watched, and I think you should watch it, I think you should watch the Range Rover video, and I think you should watch the new shop video. a lot of YouTubers would tease out this new shop. Hey, I'm building this new shop. Let me make 12 episodes on the build.
Right. So he's a one episode kind of guy on
Yep.
one topic and we're done. So
He-
he'll do a full Land Rover build in one video and he'll move on.
Pretty much. There's
So
some
that's
that are multiple
expensive, right?
episodes.
So that's expensive. I mean, someone with 6 million subscribers with 6 million views per video can afford to do that. But the reason why you see YouTubers go, here's my new shop and I'm going to tease this over 3 episodes is because they require the regular upload.
Yep.
So every 2 days they require a regular upload to maintain that money ticking over. They get the same views. They get the same 50,000 views over and over again. And so they need to tease that content out. And that's why you see builds take a little bit longer or they have 3 or 4 projects on the go because they require that to tick over. Whereas he can obviously swing it financially where he can do one big build in one series and move on.
Don't get me wrong, like some of his episodes are multi-stage, right? So he did a Rolls-Royce Wraith rebuild, and he probably did 5 or 6 episodes on that, but they were all hour long. Like there was a lot of work that needed to be done on that car. But what I liked is in his new shop reveal, and I mean his new shop is unreal in terms of like the size, the scale, the tools he's got in there, all the bin pack lifts and everything. But I just liked that it was a video that was obviously filmed over like a 3-4 month period. And he showed you the whole thing from the empty shop into what it is today when he revealed his first project car that he's working in there. Gotcha. So Matt Armstrong, you need to watch so we can have a bit of a discussion about that shop. And I would love to extend the offer. Matt, you're not watching this, but I would love to go to Matt's shop.
Okay, get an invite.
Detail a car.
Right. Oh, detail a car.
Yep.
Okay, that'd be quite cool.
I'd love to go there.
Yeah.
He's got a guest lift.
Right.
He said on his video he has a guest lift for, I mean, he was more implying when Tavares was over in the UK to go and work on a car. But hey, I'll be happy to get on the guest lift and detail a car. And we'd be detailing comfort as well with a lifted car.
Do you know one of my big detailing dreams?
Yeah.
I'd love to detail someone's private jet.
Like the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Yep. Okay. Like big polishes and...
Yeah, polish it. Someone's private jet. Just cause.
You just want to get up close and personal to a private jet.
I just wanted to video the whole experience, just be a part of it.
Didn't...
make bank on it. I don't know.
Didn't Larry from MO, NYC, do a jet on his channel?
Like that. Yeah, I've seen the guys from PNS do one as well.
I think he had a team of about 20 people doing that.
Well, yeah, we'll get a team. Like maybe... Oh, there we go. House of Rags. Hook us up. Get the team together and hook us up and we'll do a private jet.
Okay.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. I mean...
Big polishing series.
I'm not saying no,
We'll get paid to do this big jet.
Oh, we're getting paid to do it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was not a freebie like what I just offered Matt Armstrong.
Well, different scale. Different scale. But yeah, I'd love to get paid to polish someone's private jet, video it. I don't even know how to polish jets, but...
We're reaching for the stars today. We're like, hey, Matt, let us come and polish your car. Now we need someone with a jet to come and polish. Yeah. I can get on board if we can get the Thor team involved as well, because we need a crew.
We need a crew. That'd be cool.
What's your video?
Well, should we just take a little break? Let's talk about the product of the week.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll talk about my video.
Okay.
Not video. It'll be about a product.
A product, okay.
That I've seen a couple of YouTubers talk about.
Okay. Product of the week. I think you've got it over to the left there. CarPro Retire.
CarPro Retire. Product of the week.
We have been using CarPro Retire we've been using this since it came out. I remember, I think this was a SEMA release a couple of years ago. I was really excited to see this product because we had been using Brake Buster up until this point. And I mean, this hasn't left our shelf.
Yeah, some people would argue, why do you need a wheel cleaner and a tyre cleaner? Well, the reason why you need a tyre cleaner is because you've either got brand new tyres, you've got tyres that are going to get set up to have accept the tyre dressing, or you've got some old tyres that are looking a bit sort of gunged out. You need that because you want to sort of not strip it back entirely, because tyres contain some stuff in them that stop them from oxidizing and cracking and all that kind of stuff. But you want to strip some dirt out of it and maybe take that first layer of dye out. So you spray that on, the tyre goes black. You can see some of that leaching of the tyre come out, and you want to rub it, and then you could do it again and just strip that back nice and bare. That sets the tyre up perfectly to accept tyre dressing. You might be doing a tyre sealant, like I know you've just recently put Armour Detail Supply Ghost on.
I think that's where this comes in really important now, is a lot of the tyre dressings that are on the market are stout. and they are really tough to remove.
They're
so
only
you
going to
needed
work
get
well.
it cleaner.
Well, yeah, you're right. They're only going to work well if you can actually get yourself to a nice bare surface that does that.
Correct.
But also, when we're testing, you just said that to pull all the stuff off you don't like, you need that as well.
You need a dedicated cleaner. These are quite well. I don't think the product goes a long way. Like, you do use a lot of product of this. So this is a 500ml bottle. You can get a litre, or you can get a gallon from the House of Rags. We've got a gallon of it, and I would say for every car, we probably go through about 200 millilitres. This is the 500, and we almost go through half of this each time we work a car.
It's not that expensive. The thing I don't like about how the delivery is of that product is it's got like a foaming nozzle on it. I don't like that. It doesn't quite work that well, but the product works fantastically.
Yeah, you have to work quite hard.
So there's a bit of a trade-off there. It's like crappy sprayer for good product.
You could put it on IK foamer though.
You could do. I wonder how well that would work actually.
We'll have to give it a go. But we do have a full video of CarPro Retire on the channel. So if you want to know more about the product, go and check it out. Otherwise, we'll have a link in the description below to CarPro Retire on the House of Rags. And as I said, you can get in a litre, you can get in a gallon. I think you're going to want both. Give you that there, sir.
That's the product of the week.
So what about this video? What have you been watching?
This is a DIY detail heavy podcast, isn't it? So Ivan and Nick from DIY Detail have released a new product, which it's a wax.
I've seen a lot of videos this week.
So I mean, Eddie's just the video that Eddie put out a couple of days ago kind of jogged my memory of it, but actually that product came out maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a few weeks ago. So they created a wax. Now, this quite sort of, well, why do you need a wax? You know, you've got these ceramic coatings. Ceramic coatings last for 5 years. They're really nice, high beading properties. They last a long time. They have all this protection and all this kind of stuff. Why wax? And I kind of agree with people. I'm like, yeah, why do we need a wax? And then Ivan started to talk about the uses of it, and he sort of talks about sort of getting back into tune of the older days where mum and dad were cleaning the car out in the garret or out there, and you were helping them, or, you know, the kid comes and, Dad, can I put a little bit of wax on, a sort of bonding time. I think that's quite a cool element. The other thing I've heard is that you can top it with your ceramic coating.
You can apply wax on top of your ceramic coating?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so as a topper.
And so, yeah, as a topper. So this is it's like a paste wax. I guess it's got some filling properties to some degree, so it'd be quite nice if you had a ceramic coating that might be 1 or 2 years old, you're starting to get little scratches. It might fill some very minor scratches. But also, putting a wax on is also a sacrificial layer for things like water spots.
Okay.
You know, we talk about water spots. Well, a wax actually reduces your ability to get water spots. And also, if you get a water spot in the wax will wear off over, 2-3 months, and the water spot will be removed.
I was so tempted. So when I bought my Subaru WRX, the white STI, I did a lot of research at that point. Wax versus ceramic coating. I mean, we were super beginners then. We only had just started a channel.
Yeah, that's right.
I did a lot of research before settling on a coating, but I was really, really tempted to do a wax because of the ability to easily remove it and further refine panels, especially as I was a beginner with the paint correction side of things.
And even if you had a show car, like if you had a show car and you want it to look perfect all the time.
Are you waxing it?
You put a wax on, you get the odd scratch, and you can only just need to polish that area of the scratches and then put your wax over the top. Whereas ceramic coating, man, you're like pulling the whole thing off.
So I kind of wish this, last 2 weeks of detailing had happened, 3 months ago, because I recently put...
You can put wax on now, though.
I could, but an example of exactly that is I paint corrected the car. I coated it with Ultra. So what is that, like a 9-year advertised coating? So it's a hard coating.
Yeah.
And then the cat jumped on the car, on the hood.
Scratched
put scratches all down the hood 3 days into the freshly coated car. With a wax, I would have fixed that by now. With coating, I'm going, I need a wet sand. Like, this is hard.
I guess the downside to a wax is not going to last as long. So I don't know what the advertised longevity is, but it'll be a couple of months. It's not going to last as long. It's not going to be resistant to scratching. It's probably not going to have those hardened properties that we see with a coating. But I definitely would like to try. I don't know how good this is going to work, is to have your polished car that's ceramic coated with the wax on it, and then you then use your drying aid in between. The other thing I'm quite excited to hear about and to try out is, cars with piano black trim.
Oh, yep. Like
So
the Range Rover?
The Range Rover's got real bad piano black trim. Is that he said you could apply the wax with the filling agents to the piano black trim.
I think we've got to try that on your car.
So it'd be nice to see if I could reduce the scratches. Also, if you had a brand new car, you'd put your wax on and it would give it some protection for a period of time.
Do you think the filling properties in that will reduce the scratches? Or you think you certainly correct it?
Yeah, you might see a little bit, but it's definitely not going to fill gouges. It's just going to fill in some little micro stuff.
Okay, so we need to get some wax.
Yeah, I'd like to try that out and, just nice thin layer of wax, see what it's meant to add that sort of glowing look. And that's what everyone's been looking for in a coating. Everyone's been wanting to have a coating that looked like a nice wet waxed vehicle. And coatings have come a long way. They sort of look like that now. But that wax, I wonder what that would do. Is it pointless to add to a ceramic coated car, which people can chime in on the comments and go, Glenn, you're being stupid. Don't worry about it. Or is that something that's kind of new? I mean, I've only heard about it from these guys. Is that something new that you want to add on to, give it a spruce up? And can we use it in the interior? I don't know.
I think about wax as, we talked last week in the podcast around, my dream car being that HSV Maloo. And I mean, if I was buying a car that I was going to keep for the rest of my life, I think that wax is probably a good option to put on that car.
Wax on there?
Yep.
You'd have to wax it every couple of months, though.
Really? It wouldn't be going out in the elements an awful lot. So you'd probably get some
sparkling
longevity.
water, eh?
Yeah.
I love sparkling water.
I'm not a big fan.
It's so refreshing.
This is not even a UK thing for you, having come back and got into it.
I've got the pure NZ sparkling water, 600 ml.
Yeah.
So good. I love it.
It's funny because that's the budget water here. But where if you were back in the UK, the fancy water here is the budget water there.
Yeah, stupid, eh?
The San Pellegrino.
Yeah, so that water for a 6-pack is like $16 or something.
Yeah.
It was like $6.
Yeah, it's like less than a pound.
I was drinking them every day and I felt bougie.
Yeah, you feel bougie drinking that?
No. I love sparkling water. Because what did you have before you had a Coke or something?
I had a Coke.
See, if I wanted something fizzy with some bubbles in it, I'd buy a Coke or something.
You drink Liquid Death though, don't you?
Yeah,
but that's another sparkling water.
Liquid Death is like a can of sparkling water. But I feel like if I want bubbles, I just grab sparkling water and it's sort of like healthy.
Bougie.
It's like healthy for the fat boy.
Yeah, carbonated water. Yeah. You just make it from your soda stream though?
Yeah, but my soda stream doesn't work. We threw that out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you resorted to buying the plastic bottles. That takes me back actually because
this is 500 mils.
Yeah.
600 mils.
Mm-hmm.
Bought it today. Was there 12 in the box?
It sounds like a pack.
Yeah.
12 or 18.
12? Yeah, 12. I think it was 12 in there.
Yeah.
Smart ass. And it was like $6.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty affordable.
6 NZ dollars.
Yeah, so $3 US.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like half.
Yeah.
Half and double. Oh, that's one of the most frustrating things I think about being a New Zealand or a Kiwi YouTuber is that it's really difficult to talk to the price point of things when we know our audience is majority from the United States, but we're talking New Zealand dollars, and I'm like, do I need to convert this on the fly? I always have to put USD or New Zealand dollars on the end.
Because people think that it's really expensive
Yeah.
or really cheap depending on how you're looking at it.
That's why when we're talking about at the start of the podcast around, the basic setup for someone Rinseless was trying to add up in USD because that's what 70% of the audience are going to relate to.
Yeah, especially this podcast will be most Americans, right? And I guess that's also the challenging thing for us as YouTubers. Like, we're on the other side of the world. I haven't really come across any detailing channels, YouTube channels. Have you?
In New Zealand?
Yeah.
No.
And you don't really come across pods of YouTubers either here. Like, we have a couple of big YouTubers, but trying to be able to collab with a group of detailers is extremely difficult.
Well, I know that there's a bit of a get-together for the Thor creators at the end of this month, actually. And I actually last night looked at flights because I thought, could we swing it? Could we get over there and get amongst the community? But
a trip for us to the US is about 10 grand.
Yeah, so $5,000 US for the two of us to get over there for like a 3-4 day trip.
Well, SEMA was 10,000.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult for us to network. It's really difficult for us to collab. it's really difficult for us to bounce ideas off each other and grow as a group. You know, I look at some car detailers, some car YouTubers that I watch, like I don't know, the car guys. So Adam LZ, Jimmy Oakes, Chris Rudnick, TJ Hunt, those guys are all doing things together all the time. They're going to drift events. They're all building each other, you know. A couple of them are big YouTubers, a few of them are a little smaller, but they're all growing together. You and I, we don't really have a group to grow with. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, it's tough. And you watch those YouTubers and you see them talk about other YouTubers that, you know, one might know, but the other's not been introduced to yet. And I think of like Matt Mormon as an example there from Obsessed Garage. You know, he got him with Adam LZ to do like a house project.
To grow and to network and collab off, bounce ideas off, grow, talk about analytics and how things work. And you and I have really not really got that. And so the other thing is that being able to communicate with people on the other side of the world at night time is also challenging.
Yeah, that time difference is a killer.
And so you'll see the guys in the Thor Media chat, you'll see that when you guys are all active, we're sleeping.
The main way that we can communicate with the community is YouTube comments, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like commenting on other people's videos and
totally.
having that chat in the bottom of our videos as well. So
having this opportunity to work with other creators inside the Thor Media channel is huge for us, you know. Being able to see all these comments come through, being able to bounce ideas off each other, being able to talk and build as a community. Hopefully you'll get to see us, and hopefully we'll be able to grow our channel as we all grow together on these platforms. And so this opportunity has been huge for us. But I just wanted to point out, like it is to be able to collab and network from here is pretty challenging.
yeah, and look, we'll go live to try and engage with the audience a little bit. So engage with you guys. Probably do that in the next few weeks. But again, that time difference that you mentioned, you know, we're going to have to get up really early on the weekend actually to make our 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And we've sort of chosen the release time of the podcast to support that to some degree. Like that was not done by mistake. That time was done to allow us to be able to do that.
Would give that possibility, not put it bang smack in the middle of a work day, just a nice early Saturday morning for us. So we'll try and do that at some point in the next few weeks. I think that's pretty much it for today.
Got any questions that you've seen filter through this week?
Not really. We're just really starting to produce the content again in volume now after you've got back from your trip. So
it's quite funny. I heard them guys talk about that. It's just detailing season is just kicking off now.
Yeah.
In the US, while we're at the tailing end of our detailing series. But actually, we basically have the equivalent of a summer all year round, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, and we've got Rinseless too, so we'll be working in here. And we've got a few projects that we want to work on and cabinets full of products as well. So nice to kind of be back, you know. We feel like we're getting into the swing of things again. You know, we made 3 videos this week. We made a reel, a podcast. You know, we're back. We're going to try and figure out a regular schedule that we can keep to because...
well, that's what the YouTube algorithm likes, right? It likes regular content being posted regularly at regular times on the same day so that you generate that sort of audience. So
we were neck and neck with Eddie, EC Details, a month ago.
Yeah.
And he's gone from 7,000 subscribers to 16,000 in the space of like 28 days.
Do you reckon he paid people to subscribe?
No, I don't. I think that Eddie's got some awesome thumbnails now. He's talking about wax, hot new thing on the block.
Yeah.
And we got to chase. We got to chase now because at this rate, Eddie's going to have 100,000 by the time SEMA rolls around.
Oh, are you getting excited for the SEMA trip?
I when I had a look at the flights to the US yesterday, I might have had a sneaky look for November as well.
Aren't we like planning the accommodation?
Yeah.
We're going big this year.
The
boys from New Zealand are going big.
We're going convenient this year.
Yeah, convenient.
We need to be like...
Oh, yeah, we did it rough.
We did it real rough.
I mean, if you could see the setup, I forgot to mention, we got 3 cameras on our second podcast.
We do. Well, I hope we've got 3 because I can't see a red light from either of these two.
For proof, we've got the central camera. We've got the camera over there looking at Hot Boy over there, and we've got that camera looking over there. So we've got 3 cameras. We've got mic stands. We've got chairs. We've got drinks. We're going big.
We're in reinvesting mode.
Yeah.
Every week, this podcast is going to improve.
The problem is that we've got this sort of hodgepodge of like equipment down there.
It looks better than last week. We have a new tripod coming tomorrow for there. And we'll make some tweaks.
We need to get some sort
week.
of system to sort that mess out down there.
I'm looking forward to going live because the setup is going to be so much easier.
Yeah, we're going to have a little turntable deck, eh?
Turntable deck.
That thing you want to buy.
Oh, the Roadcaster. Yeah, no, I'm just talking about when we go live, we can just use, our iPhone cameras on the MacBook and good to go.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm getting excited for SEMA. Because last time at SEMA, we were new on the block. We sucked at everything. We had terrible internet.
We showed up a day late.
We didn't really know anyone. We sort of just, day late. God, what is that? So this year we're going comfort style, have a little holiday before the holiday, relax into it, hang out with the guys at the House of Rags and have a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think that the time will go very, very quickly. We're going to have to get some bookings done soon. And I think we're actually going to be busier this year at SEMA than we were last year. And we're going to have longer there.
We're networking, we're finding friends.
Yeah, international businessman.
Yeah, international buyer is what I put on the name badge.
That's what you got on the badge.
That's what I had on the badge last year.
Yeah, you should have put media on there. No, we didn't, but we came back with some suitcases. So.
Yeah, we did.
Anywho, that's it for week number 2 on the podcast. I think we'll be back in the same setting next week, but I think a live stream is probably just around the corner for us. So, any final words of wisdom?
No.
Cool.
It's dinner time here.
Yeah.
Because, Omni Garage after hours, well, it's after hours. You've been to work today.
Sure is. It's 7:42 p.m. So.
I've been to work today.
Yeah.
After hours, let's get some dinner and sink some more sparkling water.
Thank you for watching.
Catch you on the
we
next
will
one.
see you guys, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard next Friday.